I believe you travel from Charters Towers to Townsville every week. What do you see there?
So 135 kilometres, and for 8 kilometres you're in Townsville city limits. Beyond that there is nothing. You will not see a house, you will not see anything for 130 kilometres till you get to Charters Towers. Now, I mean, this is ridiculous. They are paying $820,000 average price for a house in Brisbane, and they are paying $1.2 million in Sydney, similarly in Melbourne. Now, the answer lies, Malcolm Turnbull of all people, and an Oxford professor were commissioned by New South Wales government. They said the problem is supply, not demand. The government keeps giving you money to buy houses, increasing the demand, but there's no increase in the supply. Now, this is very interesting because Charters Towers was under the Mining Act. You just walked in, put in your survey, and walked out with a piece of paper saying you now got 2 blocks of land where you had 1. So it took about 15 minutes and it cost $25 to do a subdivision in Charters Towers. Now, when it came under the Local Government Act, it might take you 4 years and cost you. The price went up from $7,000 a block of land to $142,000 when we went under the regulatory provisions. Now, the Treasurer, in fairness, kicked off his budget speech by saying the problem facing this nation is affordability and has been driven by housing prices, and housing prices are a result of regulatory impositions upon land. Having said all of that, they just went out again and created demand with no supply. Now, what we're going to put to the government is 5,000 blocks of land. Raymond J.O., the Mayor in Ingham, I said, can you give me 2,500 blocks, 1 hectare blocks? You need nothing if you've got 1 hectare. You don't need sewage, you don't need curbing and channeling, you don't need anything. You've got to have water, that's about it. I said, can you give me 2,500 blocks? And he knows what he's doing, this bloke. And he said, yes. Now, we'll approach the Charters Towers Council the same way. We're going to go to the government, say, all right, there's 5,000 blocks. There are 55,000 houses short in Australia. You can solve 10% of that problem just in Charters Towers. And now we're not in the middle of nowhere. It's population centre of 320,000, same size as Canberra, so we're not exactly in the middle of nowhere here. Mission Beach up north of us just voted 2 years in a row one of the 4 most beautiful places on earth. So that's what we're going to offer as a solution, but we are supplying. And so you sell your house down there for 800,000, well, let's say you sell it for 600,000, and you buy up here for 350,000, and you put 300,000 in your pocket and go on a world tour every year.
Get your flight now. Well, it's interesting because, well, you would know Townsville is the biggest place, isn't it, besides Canberra, that has the highest amount of defence in the population, and that's going to increase as well.
Well, there again, I mean, why the government hasn't offered the soldiers a house, I don't know. They said, oh, we can't get anyone to become soldiers. Actually, the number of soldiers is dropping. How are they going to get another 1,000 when they can't even keep their current numbers? I don't know. But a house and land package here can be delivered for $100 a week. Salary sacrifice, that's about $80 a week. You can own your own home. Now, that was done in Mount Isa to get people. If you get people to go to Mount Isa, I'm sure you get people to go to Townsville. Yeah. But Jaynie, the answers are there. They're obvious. I am not a fan of Malcolm Turnbull's, but he was Prime Minister of Australia. And he did put Snowy 2 in, I've got to say, in fairness. The only answer we've got for this moment happens to be Snowy 2. But he and the Oxford professor, I read with great interest their report to the state government of New South Wales, and it said The answer is addressing supply, not addressing demand. There's one other element to this, and Nick DeMeadow, member for Townsville, north if you like, and also Ingham, Nick is very strong on raising the speed limit. If we've got divided highways, and there's some other safety things you need, going to 120, well I think you should go to 125 kilometres an hour. And that means you can live 50 kilometres from Townsville. You know, the most beautiful place on earth, north of Townsville, or out west. Get to work in 20 minutes, and come in at a price a tenth of what you'd pay in Brisbane or Sydney.
Have you spoken to either side of government yet?
No, because whilst Ingham is right, Roman's saying yes, and we've spoken to a lot of house building firms. We've got builders in Ingham and Charters Towers, but you know they're not going to be able to hit all this. But if we've got some demountable variations, probably demountable's not a good word to use. Let's just say movable house, very acceptable, and local builders. I think we can put a package together for about 360,000. Now, some might, yeah. But the government has also created great impositions upon housing. I mean, they are demanding massive insulation in North Queensland. Well, we don't want to trap the heat in North Queensland. I mean, Sydney and Melbourne and Canberra, well, we don't want to trap the heat in here.
They want
a house
heat.
that
How can you bring it down south?
The heat out, you know. We want, but you know, if you get this reflective paint on the roof, again, one of our members of Parliament, Shane Canuti's brother, they paint your roof and reflects the heat. But you know, we're the opposite. We do not want insulation. You know, we want to get rid of the insulation. But you're imposing laws upon us that are highly unsuitable. But 1/10 of the Australian problem is sitting right here, where you, Jaynie, are sitting at the present moment. You know, within an hour of where we're sitting is 1/10 of the answer. And I am sure there are other parts of Australia that could make a similar offer.
Oh, it'll be interesting to see how it goes. I mean, Townsville's beautiful, and as you said, you know, it's not that far away. And
well, I don't want to disparage some of my constituents who live in Townsville, but I don't know that I'd describe it as beautiful. But if you move north from Townsville, there is no doubt about that. And, you know, if you like country living, I mean, Charters Towers is perfect. Yeah.
All right, well, let's see how it goes.
Even I live there.
Even you, if you can do it.
Well, my wife says I don't, but, you know, but Jaynie, we'll make allowances.
You go there occasionally.
Yeah.
Bob, thank you so much. It's been great chatting to you. And I've been here in Townsville. I tell you what, I don't mind it. I want to come back. It's pretty good to me.
Well, it's nice that some people like Townsville. A federal member in past years said Townsville, Wollongong by the sea.
Wollongong by the sea.
Actually, Wollongong doesn't look too bad. I've been there.
I've only been to my hotel and back, but anyway, it's all good.
Right,
Awesome.
we're going to hit the road.
Good.